let's talk about overshadowed bands. That's right, we're talking about bands that get overshadowed by something bigger, more Goliath. But we think the little guys are better. You know, we think the smaller is better than the bigger. Don't say that a lot, but I want you guys, again, like all these videos, to pop down in the comments below bands you feel like get overshadowed and should be, you know, the bigger band. Because they're better. So, without further ado, let me get into my list, and bear in mind, these picks, some of them are mainstream already. I just feel like there's a more mainstream band overshadowing them, and you'll see my point on my first pick, because I am picking Epica. I feel like Epica is a fantastic band, and they get overshadowed by Nightwish, of course. I love Nightwish, I like all their albums, but Epica albums, in my opinion, just do it so much better. I feel like the singing is better. I feel like Simone's, I love Simone's voice more. The songs are more interesting, more progressive. The death growls mixed in with the music is so good for that kind of, I don't know, extra spice. They have Middle Eastern melodies. They have cool use of different instruments. I don't know. I just feel like the songs are more interesting, more engaging, heavier as well. And overall, just more interesting music than Nightwish, which I still really enjoy. I much prefer Epica. I have always been on the Epica hype train, and I still am, because I think they are just one of the best symphonic bands around, or symphonic progressive bands around, and they just get overshadowed by Nightwish. It's the whole Nightwish this, Floor this, blah blah blah. Simone smokes 'em. Simone smokes 'em. Simone Sim right here. Yes. Yes, sirree. So that's my first pick. What have I put down next? Ooh, a black metal one. Dimmu Borgir. Big band, mainstream, gets people into black metal. I feel like they overshadow Old Man's Child. Old Man's Child, Gelder, from both bands. Both symphonic, we're going to the symphonic train now. Symphonic black metal bands. Similar vein, you know. But I feel like Old Man's Child just does it so much better. Like, every album is phenomenal. Pagan Prosperity, beautiful. Born of the Flickering, one of the best classic, like, symphonic / melodic black metal albums. The newer stuff, Revelation 666, is so damn catchy. I really adore that album. In Defiance of Existence, I feel like smokes most of the Dimmu Borgir catalogue. Now, I like Dimmu Borgir, I like the early stuff a lot. Enthroned Darkness Triumphant, one of the best albums, but I still think every single Old Man's Child album beats that one. Beats the whole catalogue of Dimmu. So there you go. Old Man's Child. Let's rep them too. Now, another one I'm going to pick, this one's very obvious. Pirates! Yarr! You know, Running Wild and Alestorm. Alestorm, fun band, party band, drinking with your buddies, fun live, giant duck. But they overshadow Running Wild. And Running Wild came first, and Running Wild just has better music. Come on, it's not hard to argue that. You know, Conquistadors, Treasure Island is a masterpiece of a song. Classic heavy metal with a pirate edge. I love almost all Running Wild's albums. Some of the later ones get a bit iffy, but you know, some of the others just smoke the entire catalogue of Alestorm, and I like Alestorm as well. Really fun live drunk, but comparing it to Running Wild, and everyone says like, oh, the best pirate band. Alestorm's the first one that comes to mind, maybe Rumahoy, something like that, but no, Running Wild. It's got to be Running Wild. Death of Glory smokes a lot of heavy metal bands' discographies, and Alestorm's. So the true pirates, the absolute, you know, buccaneers, swashbuckling bastards of the sea, is gotta be Running Wild. Now, another one I'm gonna cheat and put multiple bands here. So I feel like Anthrax, one of the big four. They're good, but they're not that good. And I feel like they overshadow a lot of bands. And two I'm gonna mention here. You know, American, Exodus and Testament. I feel like Exodus and Testament just has more albums, a better discography of albums, like Fabulous Disaster, Ooh, Temper with the Damned. Like, I like these newer Exodus albums. They're really goddamn fun. I think there's better vocals. Bonded by Blood smokes the entirety of Anthrax's catalogue. And then you got Testament, The Gathering, with a death metal edge in it, smokes the entirety of Anthrax's catalogue. Songs like Into the Pit, I'd much rather listen to that than anything. Titans of Creation, the Newer Testament. A lot of the Newer Testament albums is so much more intricate, so much more interesting, and so much more enjoyable to listen to than any of the Anthrax albums. So I just feel like they're in the big four because they're not the best. They're in the big four because they sell the most. That's why. But they get overshadowed because of that, because they're in leagues with Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer. But I feel like Testament and Exodus are just better. Overall, just completely better bands. And they get overshadowed by all four of the big four. I'm just singling out Anthrax because I feel like Anthrax, to me, a weaker discography than both these bands. With Metallica, I can argue the first 4 or 5 smoke the rest. But that's an argument for another day. That's an argument for another video. But yeah, I feel like Exodus and Testament, they get overshadowed. Next up, what have I wrote down here? Oh, that's a weird one. I feel like Amon Amarth overshadows other Viking-style bands, and I'm going to mention Ensiferum. That's right, both melodic death metal bands, both with a Viking edge, but I feel like Ensiferum does it better. Now, in the old days, Amon Amarth, Versus the World, ooh, The Crusher, albums like that, phenomenal. Love it. But nowadays, it's just all sing-along pop choruses, and they got into a rut. And I did a rant about this already, but Ensiferum, I think, has just been getting stronger and stronger. I love the recent albums, very epic style songs. Twilight Tavern, I know that's kind of a sing-along song as well, but it's always stuck in my head more than anything. Amon Amarth, Lie Lie A, always singing that, victory songs. I love the albums after Yari, and I love the albums before Yari as well. I do like the albums like Iron and things like that, but I just think they have a overall better discography, and the more they feel more Viking-like, whereas Amon Amarth feels more like pretend Vikings, if you know what I mean. Whereas Ensiferum and other bands in that kind of field feel more real. I don't know why. Maybe it's because one's Swedish and one's Finnish, and Finland is better. No, that's another topic for another video. My favourite band's like Opeth from Sweden. Calm down. Next up, what have I got? Of course, this one's an easy one. I feel like Powerwolf gets overshadowed by Sabaton. They sound very similar, but I feel like the Powerwolf singer is way better, and I feel like the songs are just more interesting. They're more sing-alongable, catchier, and the vocals aren't as annoying. But for some reason, Sabaton's like the poster child of power metal, and I could say both of them overshadow everything else in power metal because I love Halloween. I said Running Wild already. You got Man of War and stuff like that, Virgin Steel. These are all fantastic bands which don't get recognised as much as fucking Powerwolf and Sabaton. But because they sound so similar, I'm going to mention Powerwolf because I feel like I've seen them both live. They're both good live, but there's something about Powerwolf which is just as good as Sabaton if you like that sing-along kind of epic style power metal, but they do it better. The theatrics is better, the songwriting's catchier, the singing's better, live especially, the singing is fantastic from Powerwolf. Seen them a couple of times. So damn good. So they're so similar in sound, that's why I'm comparing these two, but I just feel like Powerwolf's a better band. There you go. Now what's last? This one's going to be fun. Okay, last but not least, I feel like Dream Theater overshadows Symphony X, but Symphony X is way better. That's right, Symphony X. Divine Wings of Tragedy, just as progressive, just as powerful, just as melodic. Pick any album. 5, the New Mythology Suite, absolute epic, smokes the shit out of the Astonishing, and a lot of the recent Dream Theater output. I do like the latest album, but still, Russell Allen as a singer, way better. I feel like the guitar is just as good. I feel like the choruses are just as good. Symphony X is better than Dream Theater. There, I've said it. And they get overshadowed. Not a lot of people talk about them. You always talk about Dream Theater. I don't like prog because of Dream Theater. Go listen to Symphony X. It's one of the best bands out there. There you go. Those are the list of bands which get overshadowed. But I think they're better than the bands that overshadow them. A very complicated thing to say. But you know what I mean. Again, let me know if you agree with any of the lists or if you agree with all of them. And put your own down below and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.